The chair calls this meeting back to order at 3:31 p.m. UTC plus 1 Morocco time, and the meeting is now in order. So let's continue with the next agenda point for today, which is agenda point 48. Presentation of the nominees for the 75th IVSA Congress, which will take place in 2026. And for that, we invite John. Before we move on with the presentation, the chair would like to acknowledge the presence of IVSA USA. Now, John, you may continue.
John, IVSA Executive number 69. The next order of the day is the presentation of the nominees for the 75th IVSA Congress 2026, 1.5 years away from now. And just to go over the grounds rules, each representative is going to take a presentation no longer than 8 minutes. The election committee won't ask any questions, but the General Assembly can ask a total of 3 questions, each being 3 minutes. Good. With that being said, I would invite you, Mr. McCown.
The first register, I was called meeting number 35. So, hello and namaste to you all everyone. So, I don't have a lot of time, so I directly move into the presentation. So, this is the proposal for 75th IVSA Congress in Nepal. I don't know, I'm a little bit messed up. So, about IVSA Nepal. International Independent Students Association Nepal is the national branch of IVSA Global, dedicated to benefiting animal and people through repairing education skills and knowledge with all local chapters across Nepal. IVSA Nepal engages in programs promoting upgrading education, animal welfare, and one fostering global collaboration and enriching student experiences to exchange congresses and projects. So these are the 4 local chapters. IVSA Rampur, which is situated in my home township.
to what they mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Don't join IVSA School Meeting number 69, we now revise IVSA again. Okay. No discussion due to G7. G7 is just for next year. Thank you.
Is Steve here? Are you saying no? Yes, Susan, you may speak.
Susanna, IVSA scope reading number 20, point of privilege. I like to vote myself.
Yes, you can. Yes, Florian.
Florian Schlick, as a German, getting number 11. I just wanted to have a quick clarification that there was a small mistake, so nobody gets confused. The nominator's name was Alexandra and Alex accepted. I just checked in the minutes because as it would have stand right now, Romania would have nominated itself, which would not have been allowed by the rules. But this is also just a small mistake in the presentation, and in the minutes everything is fine. So the nomination was fine.
Thank you, Florian. Are there any questions about it? No, thank you very much. We are waiting for Deep because he's the only delegate from IVSA Nepal. Yes, Peter.
Peter, the finance camera number 7. What was the privilege? I also need to use the restroom, and there are many names.
Yes, you can. I want to remind our delegates that whenever you need to go to the restroom, you can ask for a vote of personal privilege, but you have to come back very quickly. So, thank you. Now we have Deep here again, so Nepal is in the meeting. We can move on with the next agenda point, which is 49, test election. Florian? Yes, please.
Ladies, let's go. IVSA coding number 46. I move to table agenda point 49 test election until GA6.
Second.
The motion on the floor is to table agenda point 49, test election. Any discussion? Yes, Felix?
Ladies, let's go. IVSA coding number 46. Just to explain why we did not table this point, the reason is that during this event the officials had a lot of things to do and to take some stress off the election committee, and considering that we have the time tomorrow during GA6 because we're voting on GA7, it makes sense to give more time for the election committee to work on the test elections, so it's working good and that we can have more time for it.
Thank you very much. Felix, any other discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, the motion has passed, which means that agenda point 49 has been tabled. Now, let's continue with the next agenda point for today, which is agenda point 50, bylaw amendment 6.3.11, PRC position. This is the proposed bylaw amendment for the 73rd IVSA Symposium SGA in Morocco. It was proposed by Valeria Jimenez, which is the chair. And with this bylaw amendment, what IVSA as a whole tries to do is to include and provide clarity and transparency regarding the tasks of the Public Relations Coordinator. First of all, the Public Relations Coordinator, or PRC, is a member of the Executive Committee of IVSA, and the responsibilities are many, but they are not in our bylaws. However, all the other positions of the EXCO have their responsibilities clearly stated in this important document. For that, we believe that the PRC should have all their bylaws have the responsibilities of the President, President-elect, Vice President, SG, Treasurer, Post-Treasurer, JD, MOD, CC, ERO. But the responsibilities of the PRC, which can be seen here, are not yet in our bylaws. So this is a brief summary of the responsibilities of the PRC that include but are not limited to creating posts, managing the communications of IVSA across different platforms, and also designing promotional materials, business cards, t-shirts, collecting materials, and being the editor of the IVSA Bulletin and IVSA Journal that, by the way, has been published, so if you want to read it, take a look. Supervising the correct use of the IVSA corporate identity, which is very important for the development of any association, sharing IVSA sponsors and partners promotional materials across different platforms, including social media, the website, email, the bulletin, and also sharing available opportunities for members. So it's a crucial position. Recording and live streaming the General Assembly as well, as you can see, Lorena is doing today, and providing guidance and training to other IVSA officials and members of the committees, networks, and regions in their public relations efforts. So the aforementioned section of the bylaws would then state the following: all the responsibilities of the rest of the EXCO plus 6.3.11 PRC. The chair would entertain a motion to approve bylaw amendment 6.3.11 PRC position. Yes, Violet.
Violet Reviewing Post Exhibit Opening number 24. I so move.
The motion on the floor is to approve bylaw amendment 6.3.11 PRC position. Any discussion? Yes, Felix.
Felix Metzger, IVSA EXCO, big number 46. I move to go into a 5-minute studies just so the vice can make sure that everything is, like everyone understands what's going on with this minor amendment.
Second.
The motion on the floor is to go into a 5-minute studies. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, we are in studies for 5 minutes. Please do not leave the room and use this time to talk to your buddies and so that you can understand what the bylaw amendment is about. All right, the chair calls the meeting back to order at 4:13 p.m. UTC plus 1 Moroccan time. The meeting is now in order. So, the motion on the floor is to approve bylaw amendment 6.3.11 PRC position. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, the motion has passed. So now, let's move on to agenda point 51, which is bylaw amendment 9.2, network addition. Susan, please. You may speak.
Susan, IVSA Group, bill number 20. The proposed bylaw amendment for 73rd IVSA SYMPOSIUM Morocco. In General Assembly of IVSA, we voted during the 73rd Congress in Peru to establish wild and exotic animal network as a permanent network within our organization. This decision reflects our commitment to advancing veterinary knowledge, education and advocacy in this essential field to formally uphold the network status and ensure its integrations into IVSA operational framework. We propose amending our bylaw to recognize wild and exotic animal network as an official permanent network of IVSA. These additions will help us to solidify the network's role, clarify its governance structures, and underscore our shared commitment to wildlife and exotic animal network. Currently, our bylaws state committees and group 9.2 journal. You can find others. IVSA currently have 5 committees and 1 network. I move to 8. IVSA currently have 5 standing committees and 2 networks. Standing committee on animal welfare, standing committee on career activities, standing committee on one, standing committee on veterinary education, standing committee on wellness, #wellness, alumni network, wildlife, exotic animal network. The aforementioned section of the bylaws then state the following. So I move to approve the bylaw amendment 9.2 network additions.
The motion on the floor is to approve bylaw amendment 9.2, network addition. Any discussion? Yes, Felix.
Felix Metzger, IVSA Group number 46. I move to go into a 5-minute stand at ease, so Vice can assure that everyone understands the bylaw.
The motion on the floor is to go into a 5-minute stand at ease. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, we are in a 5-minute stand at ease again. chair would entertain a motion to go into a 15-minute recess. Yes, Nashma?
Ben Makowska, IVSA Latvia, building number 30, ISO 1.
The motion on the floor is to go into a 15-minute recess. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, we are in a 15-minute recess. You can go to the bathroom, drink some water,
So fun. GA, GA, GA is so nice. Far away. Hey!
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Because then it will be funny finally to watch the.
It's in mine. Minute 17. GA 5 part 2.
I will watch all the things afterwards again. Right now? Because at first you asked me, but I haven't enough trust in myself.
Hello. Hello, how are you guys? Hi, hello. Is it audible for everyone? Is it audible for everyone? Even the back? Yeah? Is it okay? Thank you. Please take your seats. We are going back to the GA. Hello everyone, I have a very quick announcement. The coffee machine has no cups anymore, so please do not order when it's just run down and you will not lose your money. I don't know how to run out your business, I'm not sure if you want to know. There are no cups, so ordering might no use. Thank you.
Do I look like I bring two jackets to such an event? How much you will eat? Okay. Okay, I'm like calculating my outfit to like 4 kilos of luggage space.
Please, everyone take your seats. We are going to start. Okay, now before we start, I want to announce that we have a new line runner, which is Violet. The chair calls this meeting back to order at 4:47 p.m. UTC plus 1 Morocco time. The meeting is now in order. So, to continue with our agenda for today, we have agenda point 51. Continue with agenda from GA1 onwards. After that, we have the point 16.10, attended events. Being the first one was our Congress. For that, we invite Felix.
Felix Metzger, IVSA Group, building number 46. Oh, don't clap, we spent a lot of time together now. The President has been doing President things and attending some of the events, and I would like to update you about those. And we're going to start with the Besava Congress. And the W in Besava does not stand for #wellness, but for the World Small Animal Veterinary Association. And what I've been doing here is attend I plan to attend the General Assembly of Besava, plus the Besava Congress itself. However, my flight got delayed, which was very unfortunate. So I missed the General Assembly of Besava. It was just attending the Congress itself. And the Congress was in Suzhou, in China, from the 3rd to the 5th of September, so directly at the start of the tour. So, what does SGA do? They are a global community of more than 200,000 veterinarians, and they advocate for advanced health and welfare of companion animals. And how are we working together with SGA? Basically, we have IVSA members in the SGA working groups, and we are invited to other events, and I don't know why the logo is moved up there. However, SGA is always updating us about several opportunities. For example, right now on the website of available opportunities, you will find a discount for the SGA education program for IVSA members. So, like if you look on the blue up, you can find the code there, so you can use it. And here's a picture of like the opening ceremony in China. Why do we attend the event? We had voting rights at the General Assembly, which I didn't use, unfortunately. We connect with the SGA itself and other partners to talk about projects and like our ongoing relationship. We connect with sponsors because, of course, such a big congress like the SGA is attracting a lot of sponsors of all kinds of sorts. So I also spend a lot of time walking around, talking to all kinds of companies, getting their cards. However, what was really difficult this time, because the event was in China, a lot of times like the Chinese representation of those companies was there. So whenever I was asking about sponsoring, like for IVSA Global, they were like, nah, sorry, we don't know, you can write this person. So of course we gathered some contacts, but it was not possible to directly initiate like, okay, let's meet next week and talk about this or that, unfortunately. However, we still got some contacts and like some ideas of what we want to use for IVSA. And of course, it's about showcasing IVSA. I mean, like, okay, we're here, we're the International Veterinary Institutes Association, especially in China, considering that we are active in Hong Kong, but not in the rest of the country. So, it was a really good opportunity to also talk to students there that were attending as to help with the SGA event. And at that point, I also would like to thank Shio again and Aaron, who were helping to coordinate these helpers. And here in the picture you see John Leon, the WBA president, and me meeting, and please ignore my weird hair, I don't know what happened today. Here's some more impressions, so just some good memories, like on the left picture, some IVSA friend. In the middle we have, the president of BISA, so the British Small Animal Veterinary Association, Julian. He's a really nice guy, and we had some good talks about initiating a partnership between IVSA and BISA to actually also improve the opportunities in the UK itself, but also on a European level. And you can see Somnat and Otta, who were two winners of the SGA research awards, and they're basically spending a lot of time together. And on the right picture, you see some IVSA officials. So you see Xanlin, Sujan, Erin, Shio, and Nadia, who were attending the event as helpers. And they did not just help for the event, they also helped me. They also talked to many partners and sponsors and tried to initiate contacts for IVSA. So again, I'm really thankful for their help during this event. So that's basically it about the SGA event. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for the presentation. Now, moving on with the next agenda point, we have 16.10.2, United Nations General Assembly. And that's again, yes.
Felix Metzger, IVSA Exco number 46. Yes, that's me. However, I didn't attend the event because this was Karina Kartic, former CC of IVSA and former previous member of IVSA Trinidad and Tobago. And she attended the event because she's part of the United Nations Working Group for AMR. So she got invited, and we as Exco approved her attendance at the event to represent IVSA. And here's a presentation to give you some updates what happened. So, the United Nations General Assembly, the high-level meeting on antimicrobial resistance on the 26th September 2024 in Manhattan, New York. She attended the multi-stakeholder 2 panel at the United Nations General Assembly HLM on AMR, hosted at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Attended by IVSA alumni members and IVSA representatives for the quadripartite working group on youth engagement for AMR, Dr. Karina Kartic. Karina Kartic was selected by the quadripartite at the end of her term as committee coordinator of IVSA Exco to serve as the representative of IVSA from 2023 until 2025 based on an application basis. A panel of professionals of various backgrounds, including that of the president of the World's World Animal Veterinary Association, SAVA, brought to light the issues faced in the different sectors regarding AMR. Representatives from various states, in addition to representatives from other One Health-related associations and companies, were also present to observe and share their views. The key takeaways were AMR continues to be a global threat, especially in low-income countries, due to the limited availability and accessibility to a variety of drugs. Not only are the options to some are limited, but together with the financial burdens of certain drugs, patients continue to succumb to infectious diseases. There's a significant lack of education when it comes to understanding the importance of finishing the prescribed course of antimicrobials for oneself or animals. Many times people stop when they or their pets seem to feel better. Antimicrobials are considered too easily accessible as persons can purchase drugs over the counter at pharmacies and pet stores without seeking professional advice, creating a larger probability of misusing antimicrobials. The use of antimicrobials for growth and farm animals have been contributing significantly to the AMR crisis. Countries would benefit from funded national action plans. Farming industries need to implement ways to reduce pollution, as contaminated waste poses an issue for agriculture, and reuse of waste is used for crops, hence leading to the rise of AMR. And here we have a picture of her. And another picture with Audrey Wong from IVSA, one of our partners. Picture on the right. And that's it. Just one more information. Like these IVSA, like for example, for the exam event, we paid, so IVSA paid for my attendance, so for the flight and the accommodation there, not for the food, so it's like always just flight and accommodation included. Karina's attendance was financed by the United Nations, so IVSA didn't pay for her attendance at this event, just to clarify that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Felix, for the presentation on behalf of Karina Kartic. Are there any questions? Yes, Vicky.
Since her representing IVSA is only from 2023 to 2025, is there going to be another person representing IVSA at this?
Thank you for the question. Now, Felix.
Felix Mesker, IVSA Exco number 46. Wonderful question, but unfortunately I don't have an answer on this yet. Because we still have to renew our ECOSOC status to make sure that IVSA keeps and stays an NGO acknowledged by ECOSOC. If this is the case, then we can approach them to see that we continue this collaboration.
Thank you for the answer. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for that presentation. Let's move on to the next agenda point, which is the PECAVA Congress. And that's again Felix.
Felix Mesker, IVSA Exco number 46. Hi, it's me again. I hope you missed me. So now we're talking about the PECAVA Congress. So what is PECAVA? It's the Federation of Companion Animal Veterinarians, and they had the General Assembly of PECAVA hosted 29th PECAVA Euro Congress in Athens. This is not a picture I made, I just used Canva to it because I didn't make a nice picture of Athens itself, but I just realized this when I created the presentation. The event was in Athens, in Greece from the 12th to the 14th of September 2024. So again, what does FICAVA do? They have the Europe Congress, which is basically one big congress veterinarians from Europe can attend, with a lot of lectures and discussions and some nice food. They also produce publications, and they have several working groups on animal welfare, on health, but also on sustainability, which was really interesting. And how are we working together? So far, there's not that much interaction with the FICAVA itself, because we're always kind of like working together with other things related. We're also like other products, like for example, FIVA and FBB are related. I will talk a bit more about these associations later. On with FICAVA itself, we're just like invited to the Congress. And like it's also again good big congress, a lot of sponsors, so walking around, talking with everyone, getting a contact. So yeah, that's basically it so far. So I really hope that we can improve like the collaboration in this field, especially like together with the IVSA Europe region in the future. So again, why do we attend the event? Giving updates about IVSA. Of course, they're approaching us and asking, hey, what's going on in the IVSA world, so it's good to let them know. I also gave a very short update at the General Assembly, because time was running out at the end, and my update was scheduled quite late, so I had to do it quite fast. However, it was quite good. Talking about our collaboration, as I just mentioned, like I really want to improve it. However, during the Congress itself, they were really busy, so unfortunately we did not find the time to actually talk about our collaboration, which is again very unfortunate. However, I hope via email and additional meetings we can like improve this. Then connecting with sponsors, as I mentioned before, and this year I really put a lot of effort to join many working group sessions. Because this could also be like a potential collaboration point of including IVSA members in the FICAVA working groups to again make sure that IVSA is seen as an association, but also to include a student input on certain topics. And as I mentioned before, like one working group was really standing out for me, which was the working group on sustainability. Really like they were addressing like in a really good way on how clinics should improve regarding sustainability, because of course with medicine it's not that easy and hygiene and everything. However, there were some good suggestions and like examples on how they try to achieve that. But yeah, hopefully there are more results coming soon. And we did already discussed about that FICAVA wants to publish basically like a short information paper explaining to young graduates and like veterinarians in general, okay, if I start the practice, like what easy steps can I do to reduce the waste of the veterinary profession? Yeah. And there were also lectures, I attended some of them to search for potential speakers that I find like really outstanding. So I tried to get their contact afterwards. So in order to give those to committees and networks. However, those lectures I attended, like I only found one speaker like outstanding, and those like this one was rather focused on like emergency medicine, which would probably be like a good idea for like the alumni network. So like maybe in the second half of the term we can see if we can reach out to the speaker. But this is like an idea still in my mind, so I will talk with Sushant more about it at a later point of this term to see what we can do. What happened at the event this year? So we started the Congress on the 12th. Then on the second day of the Congress we had a formal dinner, which was the 13th. And so in those 2 days I was basically roaming around, talking, socializing. And the hard thing is that there is really not much to point out after like such an event where you can be like, okay, this is the result of that, this is the result of that. It's just like talking and seeing it, like every single connection you can make that may help at some point of the term. Yeah, you're like really happy about it, but right now I cannot say, okay, we made this, we made this, we made this out of it. On the General Assembly on the 14th, like I attended as well, there were a lot of internal discussions of FICAVA itself, and as I said, like I gave a quick update on the IVSA. Here are some pictures with IVSA members, because like the nice thing about FICAVA is that they do like basically travel grant for students together with IVC evidences, so those students can attend the Euro Congress, and like a lot of times there are multiple IVSA members included just because they have a lot to showcase when it's about the application. So that was really good, and here you can see some, like you can see Jemini, for example, or Mimi and Nicholas, and yeah, it was really cool. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Felix. Are there any questions? Seeing none, let's move on. The next agenda point, which is ECCBT meeting. And again, Felix.
Hello everyone, it's me again. So this one, probably not that long. So it's about ECCBT, which is the European Coordinating Committee on Veterinary Training, and I attended the meeting of the ECCBT members in Vienna, Austria, on the 20th of September. So what does ECCBT do? Like they are observing current developments in veterinary education in Europe. They're interacting with bodies to address needed changes, sorry for the mistyping, and they're also publishing position papers. And how are we working together? Basically, IVSA is an ad hoc member of ECCBT. What is an ad hoc member? Basically, we are a member that is attending, that can like join the discussions and everything. However, we don't have voting rights in ECCBT. Why do we attend the event? I mean, we are ad hoc members, so we should participate in the discussion to give our student perspective. And like it's also nice to interact with the attending partners. For example, like one of the partners was IVSA, so we had like some good talks before our upcoming webinar that happened in November that Florian updated you about, like with the many attendees, which was really great. So it was good to connect with them beforehand. What happened at the event this year? The start of the event was the 20th, like it was a one-day meeting with lunch break. Like as I mentioned, we had talks with the IVS about the webinar of IVSA Europe. And one thing we realized during the event is that because of the change of the president every year, and also like of the change of the regional background of the president that might appear, it's not guaranteed that the president is of Europe. And what I noticed is that at those meetings, it's about like veterinary education and the European law. Like this is like high level confusing. Like at least it was for me because I did not have that much background knowledge about these things. So I was attending this meeting and I was really lost just because I couldn't attend the previous meetings because it was still September, so I just started my term and I did not know how to like actively participate in this discussion. So we said it would make more sense to have an ongoing IVSA member from the Europe region to attend those meetings. And basically what will happen now is that I still have to discuss with them at the next meeting if they would still agree that we're going to do this. And in that case, together with IVSA Europe, we would plan to have an application process for this member. So those would be assigned to this position for at least 2 years. So we have an ongoing process of that. And this person basically will update IVSA Global about the proceedings. And just to like also let you know about the finances, because if I got to mention this in FICAVA, at FICAVA I again attended with IVSA funds. However, like Germany, Greece is not that far, so like luckily it was not that expensive. I also found a very cheap hostel. And for the ECCBT event, since it was in Austria, I just took one train to Vienna. And also stayed at a friend's house, and thankfully also FBE is paying for the transportation costs, so thanks for FBE, so the event didn't cost us anything. So that's it.
Thank you, Felix, and thank you, FBE. Are there any questions? Seeing none, the next agenda point is FIBA General Assembly. And again, we invite Felix.
Felix Metzger, IVSA. 46. So, hi again. This time we're talking about the FIBA General Assembly. What is FIBA? The Federation of European Equine Veterinary Associations, and they had the General Assembly of FIBA in Lisbon, Portugal on the 24th of October. What does FIBA do? Communicating with the real European Parliament on behalf of equine vets in Europe, and that's basically what they do. They represent 8,600 equine vets in Europe and also belong to FBE. And how are we working together? We have FIBA, like there are FIBA working groups. In those working groups, again, we have IVSA members. What we discussed at this event is that I would love to receive more regular updates about the progress of these working groups, so we can rather stay informed about what is happening. However, that doesn't quite work out because the working groups are quite an internal thing of FIBA, so we as IVSA don't have direct access to this progress. So for the moment, it's just that IVSA is involved, which is good. Our name again standing included in the working group. But yeah, I can't give you a lot of updates about the working groups. We are invited to each other's events, and one project that is in progress, but it's currently lacking of sponsorship, is an equine internship. So basically, FIBA would like to start an application process together with IVSA for a European member that would be using an equine internship, and then FIBA would pay for this internship, which would be a great opportunity for whoever student that's really interested in equine medicine in Europe. However, currently there's no sponsorship for that, and without money, no internship. So this is an ongoing thing. And basically, whenever I see them, I'm like, hey, any updates for sponsorship? They say no so far, and then you have to wait again. Why do we attend the event? Getting updates about IVSA. Again, at this event, I gave a presentation about us, what happened specifically at the event in Peru, and what are the new things. We are talking about collaboration, mainly about this project I just mentioned, and also get there certain sponsors are attending there, so we can roaming around, talking. We got approached by one potential sponsor, Fluxagy. However, we had communication with them in the last term that did not really work out, and also the talks I had with them were their expectations being quite demanding compared to what we actually need. So so far nothing came up. And what happened at the event this year? So on the 23rd, I arrived and there was a welcome dinner, and then on the next day we had the General Assembly. There were of course internal discussions, just like our General Assemblies for FIBA. I gave the IVSA presentation, and there were some interesting lectures at the end, and we ended the day with a boat trip and a goodbye dinner, and during the boat trip, again, we tried to socialize a lot again, but yeah, that's basically it. So this is my update about FIBA. For this event, again, IVSA paid. Luckily, my location in Germany, Europe for this event was quite good again, because also flights from Munich International Airport to Lisbon were not that expensive, and I, again, didn't need the full amount of money I budgeted to this.
Thank you, Felix. Are there any questions? No, let's move on. The next agenda point is AAHA event, and that's again Felix.
Hi, it's me again. Felix Metzger, IVSA Exco meeting number 46. So, let's start here. So I'm giving this presentation on behalf of Nadia, our current chair of the Committee on Health. And she was attending the AAH conference 2024 in Vientiane. So, what is AAH? The Asia Pacific Action Alliance on Human Resources for Health. AAH was established in 2005 as a regional partnership focused on strengthening capacity for human resources for health, HRH, planning and management across Asia Pacific regions. AAH advocates of global initiatives such as the Kampala Declaration and the Agenda for Global Action to promote sustainable HRH development, originally consisting of 10 member countries. AAH now encompasses 22 countries spanning 3 WHO regions, underscoring its dedication to fostering regional collaboration for HRH improvement. The key takeaways of this event were like the increase of veterinary student involvement, to redefine One Health concept among students, to promote One Health awareness, and to leverage digital training. And that's already everything about the update. For this event, important to mention is again that we got invited, so IVSA didn't pay for it. So for us, this event was made basically to send like veterinary person, like veterinary student, to this event interested in like One Health with like and the chair like being from Indonesia. It made a lot of sense to send her to this event to represent IVSA and again to put our foot in the door to be like, hey, we as veterinary students, we are also important in the discussion about One Health. Please include us. And that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix and Nadia, our co-chairs. Are there any questions? Seeing none, the next agenda point is World African Continental Conference. And for that, again, Felix will present the slides.
Felix Metzger, IVSA Exco, bidding number 46. Yes, I'm presenting again, and this time on behalf of Titi Layo, our current chair of the Standing Committee on Animal Welfare, and Donald, our SSA regional rep. So, the World Organization for Animal Health, a Continental Conference in Nairobi, Kenya report. The theme was towards a more resilient veterinary workforce in Africa. About the conference, the Continental Conference was held in Nairobi, Kenya at Radisson Blu Hotel, Upper Hill from 26 to 28 of November 2024. The conference consisted of a fine representation of veterinarians and veterinary paraprofessionals from Africa. This also included youth participation, especially veterinary students. Partner of the WOA, FAO, GLB, MET, IFCAW, and African government officials relating to veterinary medicine were also well represented. IVSA participants in that case were Titi Layo, the chair of the SGA committee, then Donald Rwanda, the IVSA South regional representative, Wilka Kayoko, an IVSA Kenya member, which is actually quite exciting because IVSA Kenya was approved at the Congress in Peru, so directly a short time after, like directly this opportunity, which is amazing for an MMO. And Noe Chiguri, the IVSA Senegal president. The highlights of the conference were youth inclusivity. As invited student participants, we were given the opportunity to have panel discussions and actively participate in plenary sessions. Gender equality in the profession, mental health, community animal health workers, with the CHW training guidelines launched, enhancing veterinary education in Africa, and disease eradication, a goal to eradicate pests et petites ruminants in Africa by 2027. Action points for IVSA are to encourage for more inclusivity, like having some information translated in languages like French, Spanish, and Latin, mental health awareness, continued advocacy for improved veterinary education globally through communities and networks, and leveraging of technology to share veterinary knowledge. And here are some photos of the conference. More photos of the conference. And the last photo of the conference, and thank you. So that's it about this event. Sorry, one thing. WOA paid for the attendance of the IVSA members. So again, no IVSA money involved. So thanks to WOA for again their partnership with this. It was really amazing that they gave the chance to those IVSA members to attend the event.
Thank you, Felix and Laura. Are there any questions? Seeing none, let's continue. So right now we have another point, which is FVE General Assembly. And we invite our president to do the presentation.
Svenska, IVSA Exco, number 46. Hi. FVE event. I'm really excited to talk about it with FVE being present. I hope I don't miss anything. In case I do, you will probably know soon. So what does that mean? The Federation of Veterinarians of Europe, and they had the General Assembly of FVE plus their subgroups. And the event was in Brussels, Belgium, from the 27th to the 30th of November. And the event was basically then in the headquarters of FVE and also of IVSA, in case you didn't know, because we also have our headquarters in Brussels, which is amazing. So, what does FVE do? Like, they are representing veterinarians across Europe, promoting the veterinary profession, and their subgroups are working on various aspects of the veterinary profession. For example, EVERY, so they are covering the E, stands for education, R for research, I for industry, so veterinarians working in these fields. And for example, with the H, like the veterinary public health. So they are trying to represent those aspects with those subgroups. And how are we working together? We are invited to each other's events, which we can see right now. And we do the MSD FE scholarships. So what happens is that we try to promote those scholarships and also help with the scoring process afterwards. And this year was really amazing because we had over 300 applications for MSD FE scholarships, which is a lot. Also the FE working groups in which IVSA members participate. And we have joint initiatives, for example, like the Vet Joint Program and the Great Veterinary Workplace Award, which is an amazing thing, because with this award, two veterinary workplaces got awarded that has shown how like the future of veterinary workplace can be in regards of ensuring like a good mental health for the employees, good health, like a good program for young graduates, and so on and so on. So this is a really great initiative. Then, while we attend the event, of course we want to give updates about the IVSA, what's going on, talking about our collaboration, where we can improve it, what needs to change, like what we can do. And we are joining the subgroup sessions. Like one thing to point out here is that IVSA has voting rights in EVERY. So I was attending the EVERY assembly, and like so to also like use the voting rights in case they're needed. We are also like attending the General Assembly of FVE itself and participate in discussions. And it's also again like this event, other partners like AVMA, FIBA, FICAVA are also present, so we can also check out with them again and see, hey, what's going on, what can we do. So what happened at the event this year? The start of the event was on the 27th, and there was like a welcome party. However, I attended this event not alone, but with our Europe regional representative, Florian, and we drove there by car, and because of a lot of traffic delays, we missed the welcoming dinner, which was very sad. But the next day we like started fresh and ready for the subgroup sessions. I attended the EVERY session, Florian attended the UVP session, which he already updated you about during his presentation. Then there was the General Assembly on the 29th, in which there were internal discussions. A very quick IVSA update that, to be honest, turned into like a speech about like how young veterinarians should be seen. And we also had a lecture about AI. And on the last day, on the 13th Saturday, I attended like a strategy plan meeting for the next 5 years, and we were basically getting together in small working groups to discuss strategies and basically the mission of FVE for the next years, for the next 5 years. And here's one special picture. Again, my hair looks horrible. I don't know what's happened this year. But I really like this picture because those two on the right are actually former IVSA board members of IVSA Global back from the 80s. And when we talked with them about the symposium that happened soon, they said, the symposium, oh yeah, I remember, like when in my time we didn't have it anymore because it kind of vanished, but we brought it back to go skiing with IVSA members. So yeah, it was really nice to meet them and also to talk about how often they got approached to give information about the IVSA history for the IVSA History Task Force. So it was a really great talk and I wanted to share this with you. That's it for this event. We didn't pay because again, FEE paid for our attendance, so yay! Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felix, Florian, and FB. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Upendra.
With the total IVSA Expo meeting number 8, I'd like to go to 10-minute recess.
You have to move.
I hope to go to 10-minute recess.
Second.
The motion on the floor is to go into a 10-minute recess. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, we are at a 10-minute recess. We have to be back at 5:35 p.m. the chair calls the meeting back to order at 5:42 p.m. UTC plus 1 Morocco time. The meeting is now in order. The chair would entertain a motion to go into assemblies for FVE partner presentation by Alicia Diana. Yes, Doha.
My name is Doha from IVSA Morocco, bidden number 101. I so move.
Second.
The motion on the floor is to go into assemblies for FVE partner presentation. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, we are in assemblies. So, please.
So, Felix Mensages, Company number 46. It's my pleasure to introduce Alicia Diana, FE member, to all of you during this wonderful General Assembly. She's giving a presentation about FE and under the theme of the advanced scope of veterinary medicine, which is the theme of this symposium. So, please give a big welcoming applause to Alicia.
Thank you and hello everyone. Thank you also for the sanity so I don't have to do that whole thing of no bidding number, all that fun stuff. But you've done amazingly with all that. I don't know if back in my time when I was could have handled that formality. So, but the good thing is we're not doing that now. Like if you have any questions, you can just do it like normal life. But yeah, so I'm Alicia, I'm a policy officer at FPE. You heard a little bit of that with our president going through all of those events, and luckily you can hear it from someone else now, but I hope I can keep your attention. So just to dive a little bit into what FPE is. So it's really weird that in Europe we have all these different organizations, but the FE is kind of an overarching umbrella over them, and it represents over 330,000 vets from 39 European countries. So not just of the European Union, but also the ones who decided to leave, and just more of them in general. And as Felix already told you, there are different sections. So we represent the entire profession, not just the clinicians, which reside in UVP, which you heard also from Florian today if you had questions about that. UVP is the practitioners, UVH is the hygienist, so the specialist on food hygiene and inspection, and also it's for the veterinary state officials, and everybody represents all the academia, the education, and the industry. And FEE really embodies what the profession is at a European level, and so we strive to enhance animal health and welfare and public health and protecting the environment, going directly to the European institutions and driving that message. We do that by providing scientific advice, by offering consultations in amending European regulations, forming positions and advocacy over these topics I just went through. One Health is really a huge pillar for us, but we also really look at the professional recognition, the professional well-being of veterinarians and education. We have a really complicated structure, which I don't expect you to understand because it took me 2 months of being hired to get an idea of, but it's all like member-based. So those 39 European countries I told you about before, they all have a member that is either the National Veterinary Association or Chamber. And everything is based on what the members need, and they form the General Assembly with the sections. Then we have our directors, which are the 5 vets right there on the right. But all of the work that these people ask of us are delivered from the FD office, which is us. You might spot me right there on the right, kind of small, but that's us. And we do that also through our working groups, which you will hear later. And we're really well connected with everyone who works in the veterinary field, other professional organizations that might represent animal medicines or, let's say, pet food or animal welfare groups, and European institutions and international organizations, and you might spot one familiar face up there. Indeed, IVSA is our partner. And that's also the reason why, as Felix already offered a spoiler earlier, we are really deeply connected, at least with IVSA Europe. Sorry for everyone else kind of being cut off these 20 minutes. I did not make that decision. So we have 5 working groups, and we have an IVSA observer in each one, which is really great because it means the vet students are already involved and offering their say to very fundamental issues in the veterinary profession. And so we have the veterinary litigation policy group, but then we also have 5 more working groups. One is the veterinary public health and sustainability, and the member there is Mata Mascardotti, who was the SGA chair last year, and was my chair because I was at SGA. We have 3 members in the mental well-being and diversity, equity, and inclusiveness working group, who are the ones who drove the really amazing initiative Felix mentioned before, VetJoy. And all 3 of them, you might recognize Zuzana Kozana-Tras, Jakub Kupin, who is in the board of Slovakia. A lot of Italians, I do realize. We also have the medicines working group, who Lorena lost track of over there. And animal welfare, again, in Tanya Matteo. And Florian mentioned there is an open spot in the veterinary statutory body working group. So if you're interested, keep an eye out for that. But our work together actually goes beyond that. So you're invited to our general assemblies, and which they say, you're invited to ours and we're invited to yours. Yes, that's the way we want to go. We share the same office, which I thought was a complete coincidence when I moved to Brussels and I saw, oh my god, that's so funny that IVSA also headquarters here. What a coincidence. No. So we got all your posts, but I promise we don't read it. We also have internships offered to students every semester. So our previous intern was Marina from Croatia, and currently you might know Magda is returning in the office, so we're pretty close at this point, surviving the office life together. We also work actively on lots of positions and papers that IVSA writes. So a lot of the positions that I was working on in SGA last year, I'm now evaluating on the other side. And that's really cool that we're kind of keeping this flow going, you know, like it's something that the skills you're developing in IVSA are not like dying there, but it's actually something that you can use in your job later on. We have webinars and workshops, and as Felix already mentioned, amazing scholarships. We did just review 343, but it's an amazing opportunity that MSc Animal Health gives us to support by now 388 students in the last 9 years to keep studying and doing something else too. So that's FEE, but that's not exactly what I want to talk about most today. FEE has, like, kind of its strength is that it has this really big network in Europe, so we're really very connected at a national level. And so it's the 3rd year in a row that we have this vet survey where we have this really interesting data coming from all over Europe. And so what came up from the last survey from 2023 is that the profession is really young. So 42% of vets are under 40, and the median age is 44. And that's clearly only bound to get younger as the older generation retires and students, the students is just growing. It's also predominantly female, as this room also shows, especially in the younger generations. And we're seeing even an increase in that with, so 2/3 of vets are female, and that has increased by 7% since 2018. And even though there is a veterinary workforce shortage, the profession is actually growing. So there's, in FE member states, so 39 European countries, there's currently 328,494 vets, and that's a 6% rise of 20,000 people since 5 years ago. So there's a lot more of us, and there's a lot more things that we can do. So, unsurprisingly, 63% of vets are in clinical practice, with the majority in companion animals. Now, many of you were here this morning afternoon for the seminar/workshop. I'm not sure what the official title of that session was, but when the American professor asked who was going to do clinical small animal practice, like 99% of IVSA audience raised their hand, and there were like 5 people who wanted to do something else. So predominantly companion animals, undeniably. But something that I wish I was told when I was in my uni days is that that's not the only thing you can do. And even though that's what we're mostly trained for, there's actually a lot more ramifications to our profession, with only 2/3 of people working full-time in veterinary practice. That means all the others are doing something else. And actually some vets are only working as a second job in clinical practice and maybe having another first, primary career. And so after clinical practice, the most predominant professions are in public service, in education and research, and in industry. And so what we're seeing and how the profession is changing, we had this kind of SWOT, so strengths, weakness, opportunity, threat, vision in the future. And what we saw is that the strengths that the vet profession is looking at are that we have more and more advanced technologies. We have AI as something that we're coming in to use better. We have higher standards of veterinary education. In Europe, I don't know the precise number, but there are always more schools that are accredited by AIVE, which means they have the minimum same requirements of what they're offering to their students. And we have really strong professional networks, like the one we are offering, that really connects veterinarians across the board. On the other side, there's a huge workforce shortage across the board, across everything that vets can be hired and work for, which is scary as the profession is growing. It kind of puts a different pressure to us as we graduate and feel the pressure to immediately be useful and immediately earn money and immediately work through the standards that we've prepared for. There are high operational costs, which means often clients aren't happy with how much they have to pay, as they're also not used to having to pay for healthcare because humans often have insurances. And there's also high regulatory and compliance burdens, so vets who prepare to work with farmers now have to go through a lot of paperwork, which is something that maybe adds to the extra burden of having to wake up at 5 every day and being ready to whatever happens while you're out in the field. However, our weaknesses and strengths are also becoming opportunities because we have these new technologies that allow us to create different services through telehealth. We had advances in research that allow the medicine that we provide to caretakers and owners to be as advanced as it's ever been. And we also have a growth in pet ownership, where currently in Europe we see that half of European families have at least one pet, which is a huge number. And that's all in face, though, of economic instability, emerging zoonotic diseases, and climate change impacting animal health as well as our own. And so what that means is that when asked what we see as the greatest challenges of 2040, we were not surprised that those are, we see the bigger words to be sustainability, AI, workforce shortage, climate change, administration, environment, expectations, which is something probably students are also seeing, the workload, and just a lot of things on the board. But I was really surprised when I looked at this the first time because the bigger challenges, I think, are potentially also the biggest opportunities. So where sustainability is a challenge for not just the veterinary profession, but animals and just humans as consumers alike, that's also an opening slot for vets to take part in that and be part of the solution. And the same goes for AI, where we can suddenly be stewards of new technologies in diagnostic imaging, in medicine development, in vaccine technologies, and so much more. Labor shortage means there is more pressure on vets, but it's also easier to find a job because it's needed. And there are more opportunities for training to be ready to do that job sooner. So it's something that I wanted to do, especially when Felix first contacted me and be like, please make a speech that gives hope, because it's very hard to be a student looking at being a vet tomorrow. Something that I kind of wanted to give a twist to, that actually a lot of these challenges are also at the same time the opportunities. And so I don't know if you've seen this amazing resource that Skogi has prepared. It's this profession map. Susanne is very well aware of it. I wasn't aware of it. I was preparing my own, and then my colleague was like, like they made this for you. I was like, wow, great. And I wish I had known, like, when I graduated, because something that at least my university in Italy was very clear on. It was preparing for me to be a clinician, and everything else I would have to figure out on my own. And also, within that scope, it's 90%. I don't know about you guys, but that's very limited. Anyone who wants to be a wildlife and exotic vet, figure it out. Anyone who wants to, but that's great, and everything else too. Like, even if you want to be a researcher and stay in academia, you have no idea what that means once you're no longer on the other side of the desk. So I had like a revolutionary IVSA alumni webinar 2 years ago, which led to me now having this job, just because I was presented the fact that a vet can work in policy. And in 5 years of studies, no one told me that. So thank you, Skogi, for making it very clear. And if it's something you're struggling with at the beginning or the middle of your studies, to figure out, okay, what am I going to do with this degree? It's something really interesting they have with all like major areas, and then each one has a whole list of things you can do. And for each one there's a slide. And for each slide there's a video. It's like, if you have questions, there's a lot of answers out there already. But just to keep you on your toes, I want to go more into that. So, okay, clearly, doctors of veterinary medicine can go into clinical practice, I think. We've heard that enough. There's obviously so much that can be done there, and this is not me saying, guys, don't do clinical practice. No, do whatever you want to do. And obviously there's a lot of options from general medicine to any kind of specialistic discipline, from specializing to internal medicine, surgery, anesthesia, cardiology, whatever, to actually specializing on the species and doing everything for that species, from when they walk into the clinic to when they walk out. So there's so much space there. And the same goes for research and academia, where the fields are just infinite, and anyone who thrives in an academic setting can just keep doing that. And that doesn't just mean, if I want to be an instructor, I need to be in a classroom talking to students, and it's not always easy to talk to students. This also means you can be traveling to conferences. This can mean you can educate clients, and there's so much that can be done if you thrive as someone who explains things. And literally any topic, because literally any topic can be researched further. We also have opportunity to work in animal health industry, which is really wide. We can work in pharma, we can work in human or animal nutrition, we can work in the food business, we can work in technology and software development, in scientific services. It's just, I feel like every single one of these is endless, and everything I hear is companion animal clinics. We have diagnostic laboratories where we can work at as, let's see, as histopathologist, so a pathology network, as biochemists, as toxicologists, and just remember that that's something everyone forgets we can do. But when COVID rolled over and there were shortages for human doctors, we're like, okay, who can help us develop vaccines, and who can help us do the actual tampons of humans? Like, this is not the word in English, is it? Tampons. Close, thank you. That was a false start in Italian. They actually asked us to do that because we have that skill and that knowledge, even though it's been delivered to a human. Biodiversity conservation is another area that is highly underestimated, but the later we get on that, the less options we have, less biodiversity is there. But there's a huge space for vets to be in preservation of any kind of wildlife species in zoos and aquariums, which I think is just must be the coolest job ever. I don't know why they didn't do that. Still an option. We have veterinary public health, which is going to require me like a whole minute to go through because there is so much in veterinary public health. and we forget because we're fixed on clinical practice. So veterinary public health jobs are anything that ranges from epidemiology to surveillance of infectious or foodborne disease outbreaks, mainly zoonotic ones, vaccine development, and it can mean working in such a wide range of places, from public health services, from actually like in your national government, to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, and with so many different titles, because it can be animal welfare specialist, it can be a livestock welfare auditor, it can be an ecology and environmental protection specialist. Like there's so much to be done there, and the intersection between animal health and human health and environmental health that is really endless. Another one that we really forget, and I don't know why not everyone is super excited, like anyone who watches CSI, why not be a forensic vet? Hella cool, but never mentioned. Public policy. Wait, I have that mentioned. Yay! Okay, it's in a way, but let's pretend that PPEs, they're not public policy. So who better to advocate for animal rights and for the veterinary professional than doctors of veterinary medicine? That was the whole idea. We are not trained to imagine ourselves in the European Commission, in the Parliament, talking about what animals need and what our profession needs. But that's something actually that's open to us. It requires a little bit of work because the road is not paved for you to take that path. But I think there is a lot of gratitude and fulfillment in being the person who advocates for animal welfare, for food safety, for the profession to be recognized, and for it to contribute to all the health that we have. And I mean, very biased because it's what I do, but it's something we can do, and it's just great to know. We have food hygiene, which is many people outside of veterinary environments forget that they would not be able to eat without pets. So just ensuring that anything that animals and humans consume of animal origin is safe and not risking of getting anyone sick is part of our responsibilities. And so it's somewhere you can go, and it doesn't just mean having to be at a slaughterhouse, but even working for food standards agencies and all of that. As well as, I'm going to go a bit fast because I do realize I'm 1 minute past my time. But anything you can be an expert on means you can offer consultations on. So if you want to be the top world expert of equine cardiology, you can do that, and then you don't even need to be a clinical practitioner, but you can offer this knowledge to the entire veterinary community and consult on anything you want, as well as be a manager, which sometimes we do not imagine ourselves as, like being our own bosses, but we can be. And maybe it's something you see very far into the future when you have that bit of experience to manage a practice, but it can also be an option to get that extra training, like an MBA or something like that, so that's in keeping your own owners of a clinic as we see a corporate crisis, but that's not my topic today. But if you want to hear more about that, we can talk about corporate outside of here. And lastly, we can be in military service. So as army vets who take care of soldiers' animals, as government-owned animals who go to combat diseases abroad and develop vaccines in military contexts. So this might seem a bit obvious, but I just wanted to hopefully be that person for someone else who kind of felt put in a box and could only do one thing that they were taught about, but just wanted a friendly reminder that you can do so much more. You just need to figure it out, and best of luck with that. Yeah, and I was given this 20-minute time slot with no time for questions, but I will be here all day today and tomorrow. So yeah, you don't need to apply.
Thank you very much. for the wonderful presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Felix?
Yeah, so, like as Alicia mentioned, like because of the schedule, we don't have much time for questions. However, I still want to say thank you very much for the presentation. And it was very wonderful how you not just totally owned the theme, the advanced scope of veterinary medicine, but also like showed us like how like IVSA is already like contributing to that, and like how IVSA, like especially the SCOBY community, the several fit, that was really amazing. And I'm also thankful that you actually provided some hope, because it's true, like I asked Anita to like include the topic of hope within veterinary medicine, that because with the current things that are going on, like especially with climate change and the veterinary profession often overseen, it's just amazing to see like what we can do, like in which fields we can work, and that like we are such an amazing profession that we can just be like full of hope for an amazing career in whatever field we're interested in. So like I'm really, really thankful for that. So yeah, thank you, Anita.
Thank you, Felix. We are still in assemblies, so 1 minute, please. To order at 6:09 p.m. UTC plus 1 local time. The meeting is now in order. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Yes?
Now the operator calculates the Netherlands bidding number 66, and so
The motion on the floor is to adjourn this meeting. Any discussion? Any objections? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned.